Hi, my name is Kathy McNair. I'm an elder law and estate planning attorney with Senior Solutions, and our office is located in the Boston, Massachusetts area. We help people protect their assets from the high cost of long term care. Did you know that nursing homes in the Boston area cost over $150,000 per year? I don't want my clients who are already facing an extremely difficult situation of having to place their spouse in a nursing home worry about losing their life savings. And that's why I want to talk to you today about 10 tips for protecting your assets if your spouse may need nursing home care. Oftentimes, I'll speak to clients who know that their spouse needs nursing home care, but they're not quite sure how to make that transition from home to the nursing home happen. And whenever possible, I always recommend that their spouse spend 3 nights in a hospital before going to the nursing home. So, Medicare will pay for a short-term stay in a nursing home. They'll never pay for more than 100 days, but in order for Medicare to pay for the short-term stay in the nursing home, your spouse must spend 3 nights in the hospital as an inpatient before going to the nursing home. It's also important to understand that unless you have a supplemental health insurance policy like a Medigap policy, that after the first 20 days that there is a copay for that short-term Medicare stay in the nursing home. And right now, it's 2022, and that daily rate is about $195 per day after the 20th day. So hopefully you do have some sort of supplemental policy like a Medigap policy, but if you don't, it's just important for you to understand that. For my next tip, I want you to realize that once your spouse gets to the nursing home, that even though Medicare may pay for up to 100 days of coverage, it's actually in most cases they do not. So Medicare requires a patient to continue to make progress toward their rehabilitation in order to continue paying for the short term stay at a nursing home. And for lots of clients, especially if they're in the nursing home because they have Alzheimer's or dementia, they're really not able to make progress towards their rehabilitation. And Medicare will say, oh, they've reached a plateau, or they're considered custodial care. And at that point, the coverage will end well before the 100-day time period. A few days before the Medicare coverage ends, the nursing home should notify you that that's about to happen and let you know that going forward, you will be charged the daily private rate of the nursing home for your spouse's care, which in the Boston area is probably between $400 and $500 a day. In most situations, whichever nursing home that your spouse goes to for the short term nursing home stay, that is usually the nursing home that your spouse will stay for the long term care stay. So, knowing this, it's just really important that when your spouse is in the hospital, or if your spouse is in the hospital right now, and the social worker gives you a few different options of nursing homes that they can go to after they leave the hospital, that you make sure that they go to the best possible nursing home at that point. So you may want to go out and visit the options that are presented to you, or if you don't like the options that are presented to you, talk to the social worker and maybe research and find out other nursing home options that you think are best, and try to present those options, because 95% of the time, whatever nursing home they go to directly from the hospital will be the nursing home that they will stay in for the long-term care. For my next tip, I want to talk about the Medicaid program. So, Medicaid is a federal program that helps people pay for nursing home care. And in Massachusetts, we also refer to this program as Mass Health. So, Medicaid and Mass Health mean exactly the same thing, and they're both different from Medicare. And in order to qualify for the Medicaid program, you have to meet certain financial requirements and you have to submit a Medicaid application. And right now in Massachusetts, in order to qualify for this program, if there is a spouse in need of Medicaid benefits, the spouse at home is allowed to have roughly $138,000 plus their house. And if you have more than this, you really need to get the right advice because there are lots of things that I can do as an elder law attorney to help people who have significantly more assets than this protect their assets and get their spouse onto Medicaid benefits within a very short time, within a month or two. But it's just really important that you get the right advice. If you're worried about protecting your assets, it's really important that you get organized. The first piece of information that we're always going to need in my office or any elder law attorney will need to be able to guide you is what are your assets? How are they held? So that means are they held like jointly? Are two names on the account? Or is there just one name on the account? Um, do you have beneficiary designations on your accounts? Are they retirement accounts? Are they bank accounts, investment accounts? It's really important that you get all of that information together. You will need bank statements, financial statements, all of those things. So in the beginning stages, you might not have to worry so much about gathering every statement, but while you're going through and you're looking at things, if you could just set everything aside in one spot or one file, that would be very helpful. So you'll need to provide information about your assets and also your income. So your spouse's income and your income. And for the Medicaid application, they can ask for statements as far back as 5 years. Typically, in the case with the cases I deal with, they usually only ask for financial statements 2 years for the past 2 years. But if you are going through your statements, it just helps to get organized. If the nursing home offers to help you prepare the Medicaid application for your spouse, please tell them no, thank you. The nursing home has a different interest in mind than you do. Your interest is in making sure that your spouse gets the care they need while protecting your assets at the same time. Their interest is in making sure that they get paid and actually the nursing home receives more money from a private pay client than they would from Medicaid. So just be aware that they have a different interest than you, and that even though it might seem like a great deal to have the nursing home prepare that application for you for free, it's not a deal at all if it costs you $15,000 per month to have that happen while you're paying privately for your spouse's care. It's a good time to make sure that you review your beneficiary designations and your estate plan. Unfortunately, if you were to die before your spouse, all of the assets that you leave to your spouse will need to be paid for their nursing home care. Because even though a married couple is allowed to keep roughly $140,000 and their home, a single person is only allowed to have $2,000 or less, And in some cases, they can keep their home as well, but Medicaid will place a lien on that house and they'll seek to be paid back at the end of the person's life for the amount of money that they paid for their care. So life can be uncertain. And even though it seems unlikely that you could pass away before your spouse, um, if you did, it would be financially devastating. So um, it's important. That's something that any good elder law attorney should talk to you about, is making sure that you do review your beneficiary designations. And in our office, we frequently recommend that you change your will. And we usually include something called a testamentary trust for the benefit of your spouse in case you were to die before them. This trust allows you to leave assets for your spouse that wouldn't be considered countable for Medicaid purposes. Do you have a revocable trust? If you do have a revocable trust, unfortunately, any assets in that revocable trust would not be protected for Medicaid purposes. If you have any trust at all, it's always a good idea to have a lawyer look it over. But revocable trusts are always considered countable assets for Medicaid. Sometimes I've had clients worry that if their spouse goes to a nursing home and that if they go on Medicaid benefits, that somehow that they will receive a reduced quality of care because they're on Medicaid benefits, or that they'll be in a lesser quality nursing home. So in Massachusetts, almost every nursing home accepts Medicaid, and the quality of care that your spouse will get will be exactly the same, whether they're on Medicaid benefits or whether they're paying privately. So oftentimes you could have a situation where you have one roommate who's paying privately and one roommate who's on Medicaid. And I've never seen a situation where the care was lesser because of that. So I don't want you to worry that your spouse is going to be discriminated against in any way, because they absolutely will not. The most important thing that you can do to make sure that your spouse gets treated really well in the nursing home is to visit them often and to check in with the nurses. And if you ever have any concerns at all, let the nurses know, because it's like the old saying, like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like if the nurses know that there's a family that's involved and they come and they visit regularly, they're going to make sure that your spouse is dressed and taken care of, and they're going to make sure they do everything they can to provide the best care. My last tip is that I hope you can take a deep breath and take care of yourself. This is really, really difficult what you're going through right now. My heart goes out to you. And the last thing I want you to do is worry about money or finances. If you get the right help, you're going to be okay. We take it one step at a time and it will work out. Right now, you need to take care of yourself and you need to make sure that you get the right professionals to help you. If you happen to be in the Boston area, I would love to talk with you further. We offer a free initial consultation in our office, which gives us a chance to meet you and for you to meet us and see if we're the right fit for you. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for watching.